We all know Kion, Simba's son and leader of the Lion Guard. We also see that after Scar's army was defeated, Kion, along with his Lion Guard, went to the Tree of Life to heal. There, he met Rani, a young, ambitious leader of the Night Pride. She was destined to become queen, but was still finding her confidence, learning what it truly meant to lead. And then she heard whispers of the roar of the elders returning. At first, there was tension, misunderstandings, and a clash of worlds. But beneath that rocky start, something incredible was beginning to grow. And that's the story we actually want to know. Before going deeper into the story, let me clear one thing first. The roar of the elders. It's one of the most powerful gifts in the Lion King world. Long ago, a lion named Askari, the leader of the first Lion Guard, discovered this magical roar near the Tree of Life. It carried the voices of the great lions from the past, and whenever the leader used it, their mighty roars would join in, making it strong enough to shake the ground and defeat any enemy. That's why Kion was special. When he inherited this power, he got more than strength. He had a heavy responsibility of protection, balance, and wisdom in the Pride Lands. But controlling such power isn't easy, because if he let anger take over, it could destroy everything he loved. For Kion, this power becomes both a blessing and a curse. It's what actually leads him to meet Rani, the queen who would change his destiny forever. In the battle with Scar's spirit, Ushari bit Kion in his eye. But Kion wasn't the only one who got hurt during the fight. His best friend Ono also got damage in his eyesight due to the volcano's smoke. So, after Scar's evil spirit defeated Kion and his guard, they went to Rafiki to find help for their wounds. But Rafiki could not help them and sent them to the Tree of Life. As Kion and his friends reached the Tree of Life, fate didn't greet them with open arms. Before they could even explain who they were, Bunga accidentally caused a massive rock slide, blocking the entrance. And from the shadows came a fierce lioness. This was Rani, a young leader of the Night Pride and guardians of the Tree of Life. To Rani, Kion and his team looked like invaders. As Rani and his Night Pride attacked them, something unexpected happened. Kion tried to defend himself, but he lost control of the roar. The ground trembled, the air exploded, and Rani's own brother, Balio, was thrown back by the blast. That moment ended all the hope for peace. Rani glared at Kion and said, "You and your friends would never be welcome at the Tree of Life." But when Rani told her grandmother, Queen Jana, about what happened, everything changed. Instead of anger, Jana was excited. She knew the roar had returned that destiny itself had promised long ago. Then she ordered Rani to welcome Kion and his friends back to the Tree of Life. Rani didn't like it, but she obeyed. Inside, tension still filled the air. Kion tried to explain his journey, how Scar's evil spirit had cursed him, and how the venom in his scar still burned. But Rani wasn't ready to forgive. She saw the chaos that followed Kion everywhere he went, and deep down, she feared that his roar might bring danger to her home. That fear grew stronger when Makucha and his army followed Kion to the Tree of Life, threatening the peace that Rani had sworn to protect. When Makucha and his army attacked the Tree of Life, Kion offered to help, but Rani snapped back, saying she didn't need help from an outsider, especially one who couldn't even control his own power. It was the clash of two leaders, one born to protect and the other still learning how to do this. But under all the anger and pride, a spark was waiting to ignite neither of them could see yet. Over time, Kion was healing, not just his body, but his heart too. Under Queen Jana's guidance, he started learning patience, balance, and control. As Rani watched him, she noticed something she didn't expect. Humility. She had always known lions with strength, but never one who questioned his own power. From that moment, she started to realize that the roar might help her. Because we hear Rani say this to Kion, "Do you really need the roar? My grandmother said you were supposed to come here, that the roar was destined to return. Maybe she meant that the roar should stay here, even if you leave." So it was hard to tell if she cared more about Kion or the power he carried. But as time went on, they grew closer and closer. When Queen Jana's time came to an end, Rani's world collapsed. The young queen, who had always seemed strong, was suddenly just a scared lioness missing her grandmother. And in that moment, it wasn't her brother Balio who comforted her, it was Kion. He stood beside her silently. This was the moment that melted the walls between them. From then on, they began to see each other differently. Rani started to believe in Kion's kindness, and Kion found peace in someone who understood the weight of leadership just like he did. But real change between Kion and Rani happened with something else. After Queen Janna's passing, Rani had to take charge as queen, even though she didn't feel ready, and deep down, she doubted herself. But Kion was there, steady, calm, and supportive. While Rani focused on ruling, Kion continued his training with Nirmala to master the roar. One day, when Rani went to check on his progress, she saw something that took her breath away. Kion stood on the edge of the cliff at Chiku Escarpment, his roar echoing through the mountains, strong and calm. And for the first time, Rani saw that Kion wasn't just powerful, he was balanced. That moment changed her heart. She realized that the power didn't define Kion. His heart did, but their peace didn't last long. When Makucha and his army returned to attack the Tree of Life, Rani had to make a choice. Fight alone or trust Kion completely. As Rani finally trusts Kion, and with that trust, Kion roars in perfect control, sending predators away. When everything seemed perfect at the Tree of Life, duty called again. News arrived from the Pride Lands. Zero was on the move, and trouble was starting. Jasiri and Janja had traveled all that way to warn Kion, and deep down, he knew what that meant. His home needed him, but leaving wasn't easy this time. We can really see how sad Rani was, and she told him and his guard they would always be welcome at the Tree of Life. The journey back to the Pride Lands was long and heavy. Kion missed her every step of the way. When he finally returned, things had changed. A new lion guard had already taken his place, led by Vitani, the sister of Kovu and Kiara's future queen. For the first time, Kion realized that the Pride Lands no longer needed him as their protector. But that truth also set him free. Kion remembered Ascari's lesson that true mastery of the roar comes from knowing when to let it go. So, with peace in his heart, he passed the duty of the Lion Guard to Vitani. And when Ascari's spirit appeared again, he smiled, granting Kion the full power of the roar once more to guide him toward his true destiny. That destiny led him back to where his heart belonged. When Kion finally returned to the Tree of Life, a new era began. The animals welcomed Kion not as a visitor, but as a partner to their queen. Makini introduced him to Rani, showing everyone that Kion wasn't just a hero of the Pride Lands, he was her king. Friends like Bunga, Binga, Jasiri, and Janja celebrated with them, proving that love and loyalty could bring everyone together. Together, Kion and Rani formed a royal alliance that was stronger than any roar or army. They led side by side, balancing courage with wisdom and strength with compassion. Their partnership showed that true leadership is more than power. It's about understanding, trust, and the ability to protect others. While the Pride Lands would always be part of Kion's life, the Tree of Life became his home, his kingdom, and his heart. Fans can imagine a future filled with cubs, new adventures, and countless visits back to the Pride Lands. Kion and Rani's story is more than battles won. It is about hearts meeting, trust growing, and two leaders finding the perfect balance of strength and love. Their royal alliance is not just a title, it is a promise of a bright future. That's the story of Kion and Rani from their first clash to a royal alliance. Now, I want to hear from you. Was Rani really in love with Kion, or was it the roar that caught her heart first? What would the future hold for them in the Tree of Life? Let me know in the comments.